Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome along to Portimao. We are here in Portugal for the return of the Portuguese Grand Prix. Of course, we were meant to be coming here for the penultimate round of last season, but did not go ahead due to different circumstances, but we've managed to make the trip back to the Algarve region, and we are here in Portugal. Joining alongside me for this evening is the man who has been here for almost 100 races at this point. Brendan, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Actually, we are approaching the 100 race mark, I believe.
Yeah,
It may
I think
well
it's
be the
Austria.
fifth race of the season.
I think it's 2 races. I think it's in Austria. I think this is number 98.
Yeah, we're on 98 today.
Ah.
Next week in Monaco will be 99, and then Austria will be the 100th.
It's a shame if I had good planning techniques, it'd be Silverstone, but unfortunately I don't. But nevertheless, we're going to head to the on-track action now, folks, and just take a look at this. It's the first wet session of the season. I said in the Discord before, which of course you are free to join if you want, whether you're a driver, fan, or just anything, you can join our friendly Discord. We always love to see new people there. I said I was hoping we'd have at least one wet session. Well, the gods have provided us. There'll be a very happy Adrian Teicher as well, who soars in these conditions. We saw last season in the Austrian Grand Prix. He was quite good, and he's actually the first man out in the circuit as well. So this should be a very good one here in qualifying, folks, here in Portugal. It's a very difficult track, and of course this is only our second ever time visiting here. Should be our third, but of course we didn't come here last season, and then the last time we came here in season number 5, it was pandemonium, quite literally, but it was a very interesting race, and we do hope we see something similar this evening.
Yeah, it should be very interesting to see. Wet session means people who are doing laps throughout the session as opposed to going for usually 3 planned runs, where you just try and get it right the first time. If you don't, then you probably come back to the pits. With this case now, something that actually won't be too different for Talpa City is the fact that you just do laps upon laps. So this might work in his favour.
And Brendan, I've just used our cheeky little trick of checking Luke Davies' stream. It's actually a wet start to the Grand Prix as well. It will go to dry, I think, but it's forecasted to be a wet start. You can see Adrian Teicher getting a real wiggle out of turn number 12, but should be a very interesting Grand Prix nevertheless. If you're just tuning in, hello and welcome to the Algarve International Circuit in Portugal. Of course, the Portuguese Grand Prix was staged for 3 years in the late 1950s on temporary street circuits in Porto and Lisbon. And the last race was in 1960, and it was won by Jack Brabham. And then, of course, we did come here to Portimao in more recent times. And MotoGP, if you're a fan of bikes, just like a good few of the FVR drivers, actually, including Brendan, I believe. MotoGP here this weekend, it was Pecco Bagnaia who took the sprint race win. Marc Marquez, who Brendan, a fan of, did take pole position. Now, Brendan, we've picked up this wet session. However, Darragh Smith is on a set of slicks, and it is starting to look fairly dry. Are we going to be on for inters for long here?
That's going to be at the choice that the drivers have to be making. We'll just keep an eye on the drivers here and just see Jake Scarborough. I'm looking at mediums. I don't think it's time just yet, but it could be a case where these last couple of minutes here may well be about who's just out there getting the laps in, and maybe who could be the last one across the line before it hits 0.
Yeah, it could be one of those type of sessions. They usually provide a little bit of a shuffled up grid, so very interesting if that is what plays out. But nevertheless, we're taking a look at Adrian Teicher here, and if Adrian can get around this final corner of Segres and through the final corner of Galp, turn number 15, he will be on pole position for a brief period of time at least. And heading through this final corner now, you don't want to run it too wide on the exit. Oh, Adrian just about keeps it in. Thought I was going to commentate this, curse him. But Adrian comes across the line then. It's a 1:25.7 to get us underway here in Portimao this evening. Adrian Teicher setting the banker time. Is the Scuderia Ferrari of Jake Marsh heading across the line to set a lap? No, he's just starting one. There goes Tyler Pistilli, fellow Canadian. That's a 1:24.3 is what he has provided here. So the Canadians getting off the marks well. That's Aaron McFall then who goes to second. Aaron quite good in these wet conditions. Goes to second position. And the man who's won both races so far this season. Luke Davies goes to third. He's 7/10 of a second off pole position, so there's definitely more in that one. Yathan Panguru, who picked up his first points last week in Paul Ricard in the South of France, has gone to third, just behind his teammate Aaron McFall. Timden Harden not really getting a proper run in. That's Liam Houseman who goes to third. Liam took pole position, is one and only, or has he got an FVR pole position since Miami? I'd like to say he has, but I can't remember if he has or not. But nevertheless, Liam Houseman did take his Miami Grand Prix pole position in Season 7 on an intermediate compound of tyres. It was a very different session that day, though, so we will have to wait and see what he can provide us with. Next, then, across the line, starting a lap, is actually Dara Smith, and there is a little bit of anticipation that this evening may be a shootout between Smith and Davies. It would be exciting if it was, but we will have to wait and see how that one necessarily plays out. Adrian Teicher, I think, is going to get back round again. He's actually invalidated and almost spun his car around, but Adrian Teicher into the pit lane. Let's have a look at Jake Marsh then. He has invalidated, so he won't be getting a time on the board. Tyler Pistilli, this session absolutely suits him down to the ground because he likes to just run consistent times. And speaking of consistent times, it's almost an identical lap from Tyler Pistilli, but a slow start to qualifying. Still some good times on the board, but definitely going to be improved upon.
Yeah, we have been saying it may well be a shootout between Smith and Davies. However, we don't know quite just yet in a way what could happen. Obviously, like the Tyler Pistilli and Aaron McFall have an opportunity here to make up ground in some of the rivals. Obviously, Lewis McWilliam has a race ban from last week, and then like Sylvester Badley and Sam Crumpton are not racing, not racing / unable to race. So it's now. This could be a big opportunity for some drivers here to make up points.
Dara Smith is not an FVR driver who is very consistent in qualifying, and he's taken a little bit of a spin round before a Galp. It's probably the wrong time to show this, but Dara Smith, of course, is our driver in focus for this evening. 100% strike rate on the podium, 2 races, 2 podiums, both second place. Oh no, apologies, Miami was the third place, it's a third place. And the second place currently sits second in the Formula Virtual Racing World Drivers' Championship. But he is still looking for his first win, and a first win that some maybe expect this evening, but we will wait and see. Next will be the AlphaTauri of, that's actually Pistilli coming around again, but he's way down on this time. Jake Marsh then adventuring off on the apex, or the runoff of Galp, and so is Dan Schaefers, who comes into the speeding into the pit lane actually, but he's coming to the pit lane nevertheless. And then this is Harley Fox about to get underway for his first ever Formula Virtual Racing qualifying lap. Was unable to make the first 2 rounds, but he's here for Aston Martin Cognizant this evening, heading in towards turn number 1 of Premiere. This is his first lap, and it's ended at the first corner, so that is the end of Harley Fox's first Formula Virtual Racing qualifying lap. I feel really harsh saying that, but it's just the facts, I suppose.
Yeah, sometimes it just doesn't go quite right, so... However, there's a lot of time here still for you to rectify these kind of mistakes, so... The aim is now just to make the best use of that time and learn from that mistake you made and know what caused it, where you can improve. It may be only a minor thing you have to change, but that thing could be a very beneficial action for you.
Week number 3 of Evan not putting on the game audio, and Brendan can even confirm I did check it before the stream started. Nope, the volume slider was down low, so that is that. Hopefully you can now hear the engines. Oh my goodness me, Matthew Slots. That was unbelievable. I'm not sure if you caught that one, Brendan, but that Mercedes was heading for the wall. It's very Max Verstappen Interlagos 2016-esque. That was beautiful. He's only 3 seconds off pole as well. That was beautiful from Matthew Slots. And yeah, it's not going to be the best of laps, this one for Matthew Slots. And I'm starting to get a feeling if this rain completely stops, it's very, very light, but if this completely stops, we will be getting some slick running. Here's Luke Davies surrounding the final corner. He's improving on this lap, and it's good enough for pole position. So Luke Davies knocks the Canadian off his perch with a 124.215. We said there was more in it from Davies. There certainly is, and he is just a bubble of confidence these days, isn't he? It's been ultra impressive from Luke Davies in these last few rounds. Alright, they haven't necessarily come on the track, but he's been ultra consistent, and he's got wins when he definitely deserves them. Last week, of course, had a qualifying suspension. Started the French Grand Prix from 20th, got up to 7th in the sprint. won the main race. There was some controversy around it, of course, with the collision between Pistilli and McWilliam. And, of course, Sam Crumpton and Liam Houseman. But Luke Davies taking that win has really given him a bit of confidence. There goes Borbune to 7th, and lots of drivers opting for the slick tyres, not necessarily coming out on track yet, probably just biding their time. Jake Marsh has invalidated another run. Harley Fox is going much better on this one than his first attempt that we saw, and he heads around in towards turn 14 of Sagres, and you can see the MotoGP long lap penalty route just heading round there. But here's Harley Fox coming up round the final corner. It's up and down, of course. Lando Norris, it wasn't at this track, but he certainly said Formula 1 can be like a roller coaster. That's Harley Fox gone to 7th, beats Borbune, Scarborough, Matthew Slotts and Tim Den Heyer. We're still waiting on times from Dara Smith, Don Schaefers and Jake Marsh here. 8 minutes to go in qualifying for the Portuguese Grand Prix.
Yep, some people going for the 6 now.
Here we go. That's Dara Smith and the Athen Panguru who've gone out for the 6th, the German and the Irishman, or the Irishman and the German, I should say. Both looking to go near to the top. And speaking of the top, the track definitely improving. There goes Aaron McFall to the top, 123.548. Aaron, absolutely chuffed these days. He can now drive a car on the road. Aaron, absolutely loving life at the minute. Hopefully, he can transfer his on-the-road experiences to the Algarve International Circuit this evening, and we can get a Hood Classic from Aaron McFall. He hasn't provided us one with a while. Aaron has these races where he'll be absolutely horrendous for the entire season, and then it's just an unbelievable drive. I'm hoping this evening is it, because there's a real opportunity for him to get his name back on the winner's sheet. Only has 2 career wins, I believe, in Abu Dhabi in Season 1 and the Monaco Grand Prix of Season... I want to say Season 6. Season 5. And, yeah. So, Aaron, we'll wait and see. The track is now absolutely bone dry. We'll be getting onto slicks running here towards the end of the session, as we can see Jake Marsh coming into the pit lane. It is going to be Dara Smith, though, who gets us underway for the first lap on slicks, and if this one is even just completed, it should go to the top of the timing sheet. So, let's take a look at this lap, heading into Premier. Liam Houseman has disconnected from the session. Hopefully, we can get him back in.
Yeah, just hopefully fortunes turn around for Liam Houseman. He has a good starting position at the moment, however, with the slicks now, it's going, if he doesn't get back in soon enough, it's going to fall towards the back.
Yeah, hopefully he can get in, because these times are going to absolutely topple. There is... that's Dara Smith gone round again. Dara Smith is not having a good time. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer's joined us. Jonathan wasn't meant to be racing this evening. Thankfully, there's no one in his car. But Jonathan Jurgensmeyer is going to make an appearance. The man 5th in the driver's standing, tied on points with Lewis McWilliam in 4th. He has joined us. So good to see Jonathan joining us this evening. That's Tyler Pistilli, who's still out on the Inters, who's gone to the top. Here's Yathan Panguru. Is this going to go to the top? It absolutely is. He's got on top by 0.6 of a second. Great to see Yathan Panguru take his first ever provisional pole position in Formula Virtual Racing. He'd love to stay there, although I fear he may not next across the line. This is going to be the Canadian. No, it's not going to be the Canadian. It's the other Red Bull of Don Schaefers. Next across the line after him will be Dara Smith, but of course we saw him spin on his lap. He's still valid. Nope, he's come into the pit lane. I was going to say, he could just get a time on the board at this point and hope that others don't necessarily. Luke Davies getting ready to start his run. Then it'll be the Canadian who comes across the line next, of course. The new nickname for Adrian Teisch. You'll never guess why. It's a fairly simple one. So here he comes then. Let's see, can Adrian beat Yathan Panguru? Of course, Adrian won't necessarily want these dry conditions. He prefers the wet track, but it's alright because he's still gone to the top, and Adrian heads to the top. And I have to say, Adrian has been a new man since joining this Red Bull team. He has been very good this season so far.
Yeah, it's not been a bad season with Adrian Teisch. As he paired with Lewis William, these two will be going for a constructors here, but at the moment, maybe McWilliam not having the best start to the season. It's probably, and Taishi, while being good, probably not being really able to make it up to where McWilliam is. if I'm going to have to fight a loss here to try get this Constructors' Championship this season. Oh, and that's Taishi Round.
Oh, it is Adrian Round, but I think honestly, if you're expecting Adrian to match a double world champion, we're asking a little bit too much from him, but still, nevertheless, I think Adrian's been very impressive. We kind of have a little bit of a midfield battle. We have Yathan Penguru, Tyler Pistilli, Adrian Taisha. There's a few more there. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer seems to get involved in it a little bit. Borbune's been involved in it. Liam Houseman even has been involved in it. And Tim Den Heyer. They're kind of a little gaggle of cars who are fighting over, let's say, 6th to maybe about 12th-ish. I'm not sure how that works out, but Adrian has been near the top of that little group who he's on pace with, and I think that's all Lewis can ask for. Of course, Lewis has not had the best of start of the seasons to himself. That sentence made no sense. Lewis has not had the best start to a season, and I still can't think that we can count out Lewis out of this one, Brendan. I'm not sure what you think about it, but I still think Lewis, if anyone's going to come back, it will be Lewis. He's proved us wrong time and time again.
That is true. It will be difficult. However, usually, if anyone is going to do it, it will be McWilliam.
Here comes Jake Marston. He is finally going to get a valid time on the board unless he goes adventuring through Galp for the billionth time this session. Here comes Jake Marsh across the line though for Scuderia Ferrari, and that's going to be pole position, 1:18.7. That's well quicker than the rest of the field, so that is a real marker for everyone else to hit, and it wasn't even the best lap of the day. It was certainly a lot of mistakes in it. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, purple in the second sector, 53.2. We're not sure how that one plays out because the sectors are a little bit glitched on the bottom right hand of your screen. The purple middle sector usually comes up for pretty much everyone, but nevertheless, here comes Jonathan Jurgensmeyer running a George Russell helmet. I was going to say that helmet is absolutely beautiful, but it is George Russell's helmet, not an in-game helmet. Here comes Jonathan Jurgensmeyer then, heading around the final corners. This is going to be pole position for the American. Oh, that's close. 0.017 for Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. Not quite pole position, as we see the two Hasses getting ready to build up for their final run. Oh, Matthew Slots, and is this Aaron McFall side by side of the final corner, as I'm not too sure what they're doing. Matthew Slots comes into the pit. No, Matthew Slots doesn't come into the pits. He goes on pole position here. He beats Jake Marsh. And the times are still toppling. So really good lap from Matthew Slots, making his debut reserve appearance for Mercedes this evening, replacing Avestigo Bardi. Let's keep an eye on Dara Smith as well. Next man to cross the line is going to be Jake Scarborough, the Californian, coming around the final corner of Galp. Let's see where Jake can put this one. It's a 7-minute lap time, as he's only starting it, so not representative for Jake Scarborough. I think Tim Den Heyer is getting ready to start a run as well. Don't think Jake Marsh has done a second consecutive lap, no, but he's got to carry on, so he is building up to start another run. He wouldn't get in and out again. It was potentially a bit of poor timing from him. Here comes Borbune across the line. That is also just to start a run, as is Luke Davies. So we're getting into the final stages of qualifying here for the Portuguese Grand Prix. Harley Fox has not made it out of the garage here, unfortunately. The Aston Martin is going to tumble down the field because that is an intermediate lap. Don Schaefer's invalidates, as you can see. Dara Smith then, 51.8 in the middle sector, much quicker than we saw Jonathan Jurgensmeyer produce. Here comes Dara Smith heading up across the line. Is it going to be a first pole for Dara Smith? He's certainly on course to do so. 1:68.883. That's an absolute excellent run. Aaron McFall goes a second off it in second position, so no good for Aaron McFall. Matthew Slots heads into the pits. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer carrying on a run. Next across the line is going to be Tyler Pistilli. He's usually good in these late stages of qualifying, and Tyler Pistilli across the line, that's actually just starting a run for Tyler Pistilli. This graphic is very annoying. Jake Scarborough then heading around the final corner. Qualifying has been completed. No more laps for Slots, Houseman and Harley Fox. Here comes Scarborough. That's good enough for the second row of the grid. That's a great run from Jake Scarborough. Jake Marsh improving as well by 0.4 of a second. He's currently 1.8 off pole. He was on pole a couple of moments ago. Here comes Marsh heading through the final corner. He's really low on ERS, but anything will help. There is going to be an improvement. Not good enough. There goes the Haas of Tim Den Heyer onto the second row of the grid. Here come the McLarens then of Bune and Davies respectively. Luke Davies across the line. It's the front row of the grid. It's not quite pole position for Luke Davies. Brendan said it earlier. The last laps might be the best ones. Here comes Yathan Penguru heading across the line. And we still have Taisha as well. And Don Schaefer's. There goes Penguru to 7th. What about Taisha? What can he produce? He's improving by 1.4. Taisha goes to 9th. Is Jonathan Jurgensmeyer improving? He is not. And Pistilli. Is Pistilli improving? I think he might be. I think this might be the final lap of the day for Tyler, or for everyone, as Tyler Pistilli rounding the final couple of corners. He took pole in the dying embers in the Chinese Grand Prix. Can he do the same in Portugal? Here comes the Canadian across the line. It's going to be a 1:17 flat for the front row of the grid for Tyler Pistilli. But Dara Smith takes his first ever Formula Virtual Racing pole position. Excellent run from him. Aaron McFall just coasting in on an in lap. But a great end to qualifying. Smith on pole.
Yeah, I believe it's his first ever pole position. So we now have 22 pole sitters in Formula Virtual Racing.
It is, and there was a lot of bad luck for drivers throughout the field. Houseman and Fox, of course, Houseman having some internet troubles and didn't manage to get a lap in properly. We can take a look at the tyres on your best times, and you can see Houseman, Fox and Bune not getting times in on the soft compound of tyres. I imagine some of those laps will be fairly conservative and not a representation of the pace. But nevertheless, Dara Smith does take pole. A pressure lap for him and for Pistilli. Pistilli going second as well. Decent run from Tyler Pistilli. He's very good in the late stages of qualifying, as we all know. But there it is, confirmation of 1:16.883 for Dara Smith. Tyler Pistilli in second, followed by Luke Davies, Aaron McFall. Great qualifying once again from Jake Scarborough, who goes to 5th, the American Swiss. With another good performance, Tim Denhire in 6th, Matthew Slots in 7th, Yathan Panguru in 8th, followed by Jake Marsh in 9th, and then Adrian Teicher qualifying in the top 10. It's Jonathan Jurgensmeyer next in 11th, Liam Houseman in 12th, Harley Fox in 13th, followed by Bor Bune in 14th, and then it is Don Schaefer's not getting a lap on the board in the inter or the soft compound conditions. We'll be back in a couple of moments. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Algarve International Circuit here in Portimao in Portugal. The 4.653 kilometre circuit, 2.891 miles and 15 corners, with 6 to the left and 9 to the right faces our drivers here this evening. Lap record belongs to that beast of a machine, the W11, Lewis Hamilton, taking it with 1:18.740. 400 metre run from pole to turn number 1, but the starting grid, of course, is very, very wide, and we learned that the hard way when we had a 5-wide moment back in season number 5. 68% of the lap is taken at full throttle with a 320 km/h top speed. But an average of 50 gear changes, and of course a longest straight of 969 metres. But we're going to head back to the racing action here in Portugal. And as you can see, our pole sitter takes a bit of a spin round. It's an absolute Pirelli rainbow in terms of the strategy. However, it's Dara Smith down to Aaron McFall on the hards, Jake Scarborough on the mediums, then it's Tim Denhire on the hards, Matthew Slots on the mediums, followed by Yathan Panguru, Jake Marsh on the hards, Adrian Teicher on the mediums, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer on the softs, as well as Harley Fox, Liam Houseman on the hards, as well as Bor Bune and Don Schaefer's. Very, very interesting. Let's take a quick look at our championship standings before this evening. You can see on the bottom right hand corner of your screen now, it's Luke Davies who leads the Formula Virtual Racing World Drivers' Championship ahead of Dara Smith. It's then Sam Crumpton in third for Alfa Romeo Sauber. I know that colour doesn't really look like Alfa Romeo, but it is an Alfa Romeo or is it an Alfa Romeo that he's in? It is an Alfa Romeo that he's in. I'm doubting myself. Lewis McWilliam in 4th and Jonathan Jurgensmeyer in 5th with 20 points each. We remind you that our driver in focus for this evening, that is Dara Smith, of course, looking to continue his 100% strike rate and pick up his third Formula Virtual Racing podium and potentially a maximum 21 points. But Brendan, who wins this one?
It's the case with Darren Smith got in the best lap. However, it was just a case that he took the best additions, or was it just his actual proper pace? You don't know. It's it. It's in his hands here, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's got to fight a lot to get a win here today.
I think this one could be a very, very unusual for the virtual race. I just get that vibe because we're going to have a lot of quick cars from the back. Oh, someone's taking a spin on the grid. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, I think he may be in trouble for that one if that one was intentional. But nevertheless, we're lining up on the grid here in Portimao for the race start. 2, 3, 4, 5. Red lights. And we go racing here in Portugal. There was a real slow start from someone in the backpack. Look at the start from Jake Scarborough. He's up alongside his teammate and into second place side by side with Pastilli and Davies into turn number 1. Aaron McFall getting a bit out of shape as well. Jake Marsh adventuring off into the runoff of turn number 1 at Premiere. Davies is spun. Davies is round. The championship leader is losing places rapidly here in the Portuguese Grand Prix. He's fallen down to 11th place, and that is Matthew Slots who's gone round as well. The two Alpha Tauris are scrapping in towards turn number 5 at Torre Veep. That is Pastilli getting past Scarborough. Scarborough got a great launch, but the second phase of it has not lived up to expectations. Aaron McFall trying to get past Jake Scarborough as well. Is there potentially damage on board that Alpha Tauri? There's nothing visual as of now. Liam Houseman trying to pile on the pressure on Tim Den Heyer as well. The two Dutch friends who, of course, we sadly have lost due to disqualifications of a game glitch various times in the opening lap. Davies taking no prisoners. We saw last week a new approach from Luke Davies. He doesn't really sit behind timidly, and he's gone for it again in towards turn number 10. Houseman back up the inside here in towards turn number 13, and Houseman goes round. Liam Houseman falling to the back of the grid to join Yathan Panguru and Matthew Slots here in the opening lap. That's really not worked out for Liam Houseman. He chucked the back of the inside in towards turn 13. Got a good exit off turn 11. Didn't work out well for him. Dara Smith leads by 1.5 seconds over Tyler Pastilli. Dara having a trouble-free lap. There goes Adrian Teixa, your biggest gainer in the opening 2 phases. He's up to 4th position here in the FVR Portuguese Grand Prix. He is on a set of mediums though. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer up the inside of McFall. Oh, there's contact between the two. Don't think that move was on for the Mercedes, but he's chucked it up the inside nevertheless. And now Aaron has got a shaky run up the hill of turn number 4 in towards turn number 5 at Torre Veep. Jurgensmeyer is through on that set of soft tyres. He's now up 6 positions as well. Him and Teixa both having excellent race start. Your biggest loser, of course, that was Matthew Slots, who we saw spun round. So mixed start for the Mercedes team. Brendan, what do you make of that one?
To say, well, not great for Davies, but for Aaron Smith, you have to say, is there really a better start you could have than to see you keep the lead, the guy in the lead of the championship fall down, and now you've got the likes of Taishi and Jonathan Jurgensmeyer coming up quickly, but they could end up being roadblocks, so it might open up a nice pit window for you eventually. It's probably as good as you're going to get.
I think Belgium 2021 might be slightly better because, of course, they're all on the safety car. Just my opinion, but nevertheless. The Teixa charge continues. He is looking to get past Jake Scarborough. It's the fastest lap of the Portuguese Grand Prix for Adrian Teixa. Not able to get it done. Here comes Luke Davies looking to gain another spot off his poor start. He's gone up the inside of Tim Den Heyer. Tim looks for the up and under. Has that one worked for the Dutchman? He's late on the brakes. Still up the inside in towards turn number 3 of Lagos. And now up the hill, Davies got to be careful, this inside line very slippy, and there's a spin for Jake Marsh. Jake Marsh of Scuderia Ferrari has gone round. Look at Den Heyer. Davies forces him to a defensive line. Bourbion looking to capitalise on this one. Davies swings it round the outside of Torre Veep. Has to run off the circuit. Is he going to keep the spot when he comes on? No, he has to let Den Heyer through. Still side by side in towards turn number 7. Den Heyer defends the spot. Up the inside into Samsung though. Got to be careful. Has Davies on the inside line. Doesn't want to squeeze him onto the curb. And no, Tim Den Heyer defends that one successfully. Really good stuff from the Dutchman. That's impressive from Tim Den Heyer to keep the championship leader behind. Haas's good race start still continues in 1st and 7th, but the best starters of the day have got to be AlphaTauri 2nd and 3rd. But team boss Bill Nowick will be chuffed with that one, seeing his Canadian and American representee performing beautifully here in Portugal. Lap 3 of 33, which is just a number I love saying. Obviously that's sarcasm, because I think everyone knows the Irish stereotype. We can't say the number 3.
3.
I mean, like me and Brendan say it differently, because I try to not say the number 3. This is a pointless conversation. Borbune's looking to get past his teammate Luke Davies, and this is where the trouble could start. If the two McLarens were to trip over each other. This is the last thing Davies wants. He just wants to focus on the road ahead. I know Sam Bird for Formula E is a race engineer, has a famous quote, "Eyes forward." That's certainly what Luke Davies is looking for, and his eyes see a big ugly Haas sponsorship on the rear wing in front of him. So that's Davies' first goal. Adrian Teicher sees an AlphaTauri sponsorship in front, and he might just see it to his left-hand side if he's able to get a run here through Craig Jones. At turn number 9, he's trying to force a mistake from Scarborough. Scarborough holds his line well, or does he? Very slow apex speed. Teicher lucky not to spin it. He's got to try fish it the long way around the outside at turn 13. No, dives it up the inside now of Jake Scarborough. Is Adrian able to pull this one off? Scarborough still on the inside. You can see the Red Bull looking to run it the long way around the outside. That's a beautiful move from Adrian Teicher, and he's up onto a Formula Virtual Racing podium on merit. Here is Adrian Teicher. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer looking to get involved here with his fellow American. These softs are going to be dying very soon. Is Jurgensmeyer able to get the both of them? Tucks into the slipstream of Adrian Teicher. Very close between the two. Very close between Scarborough and Teicher as well down the main straight in towards turn number 1. It's Jurgensmeyer, Teicher, Scarborough. Davies able to get past Den Hire. It's action everywhere here in the Portuguese Grand Prix.
Let's see how are they able to fight these back, and Den Hire fight back Davies. And, well, actually, that's someone around there, but I think
that's Harley Fox, who's gone around through turn number 1. I think he was actually attacking Yathan Penguru, and he's gone around. Oh, Teicher! I think he locked the left front. I'm not sure if Adrian has ABS or not, but it did look like that. He ran deep anyways. Don Schaefer is picking up a 3-second time penalty. He's running 10th, so Red Bull's still trying to recover this one. Teicher looked up the inside into Samsung. Doesn't want to do anything too drastic here, does Adrian Teicher. He's in a very good position in this Grand Prix, and he is on a better strategy than Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. If he could even just run behind him for a while, that would really help him. But he does have the Californian of Jake Scarborough behind, who is hungry to get back onto that podium and to get back up near his teammate Tyler Pistilli. At 5 of 33, and I have to say, Dara Smith not necessarily running away from Tyler Pistilli at this point. Pistilli's holding his own. But the unfortunate thing that we've seen from Tyler Pistilli in previous Formula Virtual races is he doesn't tend to keep up that pace through the second stint of the Grand Prix. But nevertheless, Aaron McFall on the back of Jake Scarborough now as well, and I think Scarborough, he's definitely made a mistake, because Aaron McFall is soaring past in towards turn number 1 of Premiere. Oh no, contact! Scarborough sent off the road. Very, very lucky. There was a little bit of concrete runoff there. But McFall may be in trouble. I think he just gave him a big squeeze, and now Scarborough falling into the clutches of Luke Davies. It's all going wrong for one of 2 AlphaTauris.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of misfortune for Jake Scarborough, and now he's got to try hold off Luke Davies, as that's actually
Don Schaefer's. I think that's just a spin on his own. It's an easy corner to do it at. That's unlucky for Don Shavers, actually. We were saying he was having a good start. No, that's the other Red Bull of Adrian Teicher, who spun around through Samsung. The man who was on the podium, unfortunately, goes spinning off it. And that's very unlucky for Adrian Teicher. He's going to need a safety car to get back near that podium today, I feel. As Yathan Penguru's actually left the session. But Adrian Teicher spins round, and it's not what any FVR fan really wants to see. Adrian's become a little bit of a cult hero in the past. Kind of taken that crown from Borbune, I suppose. Borbune was the cult hero of Season 7, who scored points in every single race, went on the second longest point scoring streak, second to another Dutchman of Sam Davison. Here comes Luke Davies back on the charge. He's looking to get past Jake Scarborough then in towards turn number 1. He's going to get that job done. Just doesn't want to cut him off like Aaron McFall did. No, falls into line. Scarborough down to 6th. Davies up to 5th, and Aaron McFall now chasing down the tail of Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. Is Adrian into the pit lane? No. Oh, is there potentially a technical issue here for Adrian Teicher? And by that I mean maybe a software or a PlayStation issue, because he's losing spots rapidly. Is the Canadian, and he's now fallen behind Jake Marsh and down to 13th. Might have been another spin maybe for Jake Scarborough. Hopefully not. Here comes Borbune trying move of the season into turn number 7. That's worked out really well for the Dutchman, getting past Tim Den Hire. Is he able to get the traction through turn number 8 of Samsung? He has, and this midfield battle is very entertaining here in Portugal.
Yep, some good action here. However, for the likes of Darrell Smith, it's, well, actually, Tony Pastilli, he seems to be in a. I think this may be the definition of no man's land, because it'll feel like well, it is 5 seconds behind you, and it'll feel like 5 seconds in front of you. So, yeah, and now Darrell Smith saying fastest laps, so what can you really do here if you're Tony Pastilli? You're just stuck in between.
Yeah, you certainly are. Apologies that you're seeing a notification that my controller battery is low. I can only apologise. Here comes Aaron McFall, heading in towards turn number 3. He's trying to force Jurgen Smeyer onto a bad line. I have to say Jurgen Smeyer's got longer on these softs than I initially thought, so has Harley Fox. Is he able to make the move in towards turn number 5? McFall down the inside, you can see on the bottom corner of your screen now. Here comes Aaron McFall. No, Jurgen Smeyer's got the traction. Heading through turn 5, a Torre V. McFall just going to have to sit behind for the time being. But surely Jonathan Jurgen Smeyer will be adventuring into the pit lane soon. Aaron McFall just having a little bounce off the curb. Tucked in behind. Is he able to make a move stick? If there was ever a corner where Aaron McFall would try a dive bomb, it's turn 10 in Portimao, called Portimao. That is just the definition of an Aaron dive bomb corner, and he's disappointed us all, and he's not gone for it, but he's still teeing up a move.
Aaron McFall taking the logical option.
For once.
Yeah.
Aaron's not a logical man. We made this very clear last week in Paul Ricard.
Yeah, it seems like this week he's decided to disprove our logic by being logical in some weird logical
Here we go.
paradox.
There goes Aaron. He's up past Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, and Aaron is now up to 3rd position. Borbune's got past Jake Scarborough, follows in the footsteps of his teammate Luke Davies, and Borbune is now up to 6th position. And Jonathan Jurgensmeyer still trying to get past Aaron McFall. I think Jonathan's done really well for this soft stint. He's recovered and is still in with a shout of potentially a podium in this race. I think he's done really well.
Yeah, he's managed to do well enough. With the softs here, the question is, when will he pit? Because if he does pit, it'll be about getting the hard tires up to him.
Guru seems to be a little bit of a fight for 11th between Schaefer's Panguru and Harley Fox.
Oh, McFall's made a mistake there.
Oh, Aaron's made a mistake. This could be Jurgen Meyer, chance to pounce once again. Heading through the final corner at Gallop. McFall will be slow down the straights because of that mistake. And Jonathan Jurgen Meyer's got to tuck into the slipstream, into the DRS. Aaron, oh, bit of a late move that from Aaron McFall. Gonna have to be very careful in towards turn number 1. Still wheel banging. Jurgen Meyer gonna force him back to the outside. Needs a wider line. Aaron tries the up and under. Has he made contact with Jurgen Meyer? He has. Aaron has definitely made contact with the Mercedes. Jurgen Meyer tries to lay in the brakes. We have a brilliant view on board with Luke Davies here. Yellow flag, that is for Don Schaefers, who's round, and it looks like Jake Scarborough and Tim Den Hyer fighting in the background as well. Aaron, little bit of argy-bargy there in towards turn number 1. Has to be careful on that one. Is Den Hyer going to try a last of the 8 breakers on Jake Scarborough? I mean, he tried it. It was very optimistic, but he still tried it. Not able to make the move stick, and it looks like Davies has capitalised and is past Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. Jurgensmeyer really struggling on this tyre. No puncture. Thought he might have had a puncture with how quick he lost that spot. I think this is the lap Jurgensmeyer has to pit.
Yeah, it's
Bambi on ice for Jurgensmeyer now. He's really struggling.
Yeah, I think he'd be annoyed around McFall because he feel like he just got basically barged out of the way, really. Or well, punted out of the way. So Aaron McFall, we just want to keep it a little bit careful there. Just make sure it doesn't get another incident. And yep, Jurgensmeyer dives towards the pit lane. Probably a brand new set of hard tires.
Brand new set of the hearts for Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. Lap 10 was the goal, as there's a battle here between Den Hyer and Scarborough. Den Hyer looking for it up the inside. Scarborough's tyres are going to start to feel a bit of degradation themselves now. Scarborough tries. He tried the dummy. It didn't work. He ended up nudging Tim Den Hyer into the corner. Robin's racing, as they say in the United States, where Scarborough's from. But no, we say you can't touch the other car here in Europe. And Tim Den Hyer will certainly be screaming that back into the monocoque of the Alpha Tauri. And Den Heyer's going to hold the position for now. I'm never going to try to do an American accent again, by the way.
American accents. It depends. Oh no!
Oh no! And speaking of accidents, that is Tim Den Heyer gone round. And that is a horrible mistake for Den Heyer, who was running well here in Portugal. Felt he had decent pace ahead of today. And that is Tim Den Heyer, who has gone round, but still only lost 2 spots, although I think there's a bit of damage actually on board the Haas. If there is, he's going to be swallowed up by Jake Marsh, I feel.
It's a horrible accent, well, I'm going to have to say that.
As well.
Yeah, horrible pun. Yeah. It's not great for Den Heyer, and Marsh is just going to have to be a little careful here, just to make sure he doesn't accidentally collide with Den Heyer, who's going to stay out here, so he must feel like he can manage this damage, or if he's just not right to pit if it's not enough, really. Oh, once that endplate's gone, that's surely not going to be a good idea.
No, I don't think this is a good idea at all from Tim Den Heyer, but he's tried something, and we can only respect that. That's a yellow flag. That's one of the Red Bulls. That is Don Schaefer's, who has gone round as Matthew Slots overtakes him, and I think his teammate Adrian Tyson might do the same thing. See, Den Heyer is very wary that safety car probability is very low here in Portugal, just like it is in France last week, and it's non-existent next week in Monaco because the game is broken, and for some reason there's no safety cars at the track where there's practically guaranteed to be a safety car. Den Heyer, no, that's him gone again. He's taking a trip over the grass. Tim is just way too eager on the throttle on the exit of turn 8 at Samsung. You have to just caress it and be very, very careful. As up the top, Dara Smith set the fastest lap at the Portuguese Grand Prix, and it was instantly beaten by Tyler Pistilli. So there's still a bit of a fight for this race win. It's not summed up for Dara Smith just yet. He still has a speedy Canadian right behind him. And speaking of speedy drivers, Aaron McFall Luke Davies right behind him. Is this going to be the inevitable return of the Aaron McTrain?
The Aaron McTrain, it's we thought it was going to come last week when he decided to take the pit stop for the hard under safety car, and then
Aaron felt really hard done by last week as well because of Lewis bringing out the safety car. Aaron thought his strategy was race winning. Now, oh no, Aaron McFall's just spun. Just as we're talking about him, Aaron has spun on the exit of Samsung, just like Tim Den Heyer has. There is no turn for the Aaron McTrain. As a wise man who sat alongside me once said in Season 2, it's the return of the Aaron McSpin.
I was going to say more Aaron McTrain, it's Aaron McPain, but yeah.
No, that's good. I should have used that one. That one's much better. Here comes Liam Houseman attacking Jake Scarborough in towards turn 14 of Sagres. Is he going to try the up and under on Scarborough? No, not going to work out. He's definitely going to have a good run down the main straight, however, as McLaren now running 3rd and 4th somehow have recovered this one. Houseman still attacking Scarborough. This is more like the Liam Houseman we used to know, heading in towards turn 1 of Premiere at yellow flags. That is for Harley Fox. And is very close between Houseman and Scarborough. Is Scarborough going to try what he tried in Tim Den Heyer in towards turn number 3? He's not as late on the brakes. Maybe potentially trying an up and under through turn number 4. Forces Houseman to an inside line. Not going to work out. Liam Houseman very good through there. And Liam Houseman now up to 5th. Scarborough gaining in the DRS. But it's not close enough. Pistilli just got under the 2-second mark briefly in the middle sector for the first time in a long time in this race. We're going to see a pit window open fairly soon, I'd say, for these guys on the hards, because lap 33. And we're almost at the 15th lap of the race, which is kind of when we'll be seeing the mediums pit, as that is a mistake for Liam Houseman. And maybe that is the Liam Houseman we now know, as he's just made another crucial error and he's dropped 2-7. I think it's that same corner which has caught out Tim Den Heyer and Aaron McFall. I think we can add Liam Houseman to that list, and maybe this is the FVR version of the Wall of Champions. It's just with non-champions. You can see Aaron, smashes into 2 sponsorship boards. He had a huge wobble on the exit of the corner. Maybe it's not all over for Houseman and he can still attack Aaron McFall here. Aaron, though, just seems to be running a lot of straight line speed down this main straight. And is he still attacking Scarborough? He is still attacking Scarborough despite having that wobble. No good into turn number 1. Wasn't close enough. Houseman picks up a 3-second time penalty. Gap up the front between Smith and Pistilli. 1.8 seconds, but this is starting to get interesting here in the battle for 5th.
Yeah, getting very, very interesting. McFall, there's a good bit of VRS.
Yeah, he's going to go down the inside. Here's Aaron McFall and Jake Scarborough trying to force the issue up the inside. Scarborough, a little bit of a nudge. These two have come very close to contact already this race. They did bang wheels. Wasn't as drastic, potentially, as the first little incident. But just like the first incident, Aaron McFall gets through. And once again, you can see McFall wobbling down the straight. That is the yellow flag for one of the Red Bulls. That's Don Schaefer. Scarborough looked to go up the inside of Aaron McFall, but it didn't work out, and now he's under pressure from Liam Houseman, and that's the fastest lap of the race. For Tyler Pistilli, the Canadians never won an FVR race. A debut win was on the cards coming here to Portugal, especially when you have the likes of Gobadi, McWilliam not here, and Sam Crumpton, another front runner, not here. We thought maybe an unusual win would be on the cards. That's Aaron into the pit lane. This is going to be Houseman potentially to breeze past Jake Scarborough. No, Scarborough, good straight line speed. Houseman's going to have to go the long way around the outside here in towards turn number 1 of Premiere. This is a bold move from Houseman. He's got it done. Really good stuff from the Dutchman. He's got it done into turn number 1. Jake Scarborough not able to attack into his infamous turn number 3. Liam Houseman is back up to 5th. Hopefully he doesn't spin it this time.
And I just want you to know, the gap between Pistilli and Davies, 15.2 seconds.
Oh, no contact between Scarborough and Houseman. Very unusual, but Scarborough's got back past, and he was trying it round the outside. Didn't work out, though. That was... Oh, it did work out, but they did make contact. And Scarborough actually lets Houseman through, so he obviously feels he was at fault for that one. Jake Scarborough, genuinely one of the nicest guys you can meet, and clearly a very nice sportsman as well. He lets Houseman back through. It also works in his favour because he has the DRS down the main straight, but maybe Houseman didn't think of that one. Matthew Slots picking up a 3-second time penalty, and Lewis McWilliam has joined us in the streams chat saying, "Yay, I just got mentioned." Or "Let's go" just got mentioned. Breaking news. Double world champion gets mentioned on a league racing stream.
Shocker. Currently defending 2-time world champion gets mentioned.
Yeah, shocker. Shocker, the most controversial man maybe across the last 7 days as well gets mentioned. As Scarborough was attacking into turn number 1, picks up a 3-second time penalty. And Brendan, I think you said it. The gap between Pistilli and Davies? 15.9 seconds.
Yeah, 15.
It's even gone up 0.8 of a second since you said it on the last lap. It was 15.1, I believe. So Pistilli and Smith clearly on a different level, and Pistilli especially because he's gained 0.5 of a second on Darren Smith here before the pit window.
And I believe he may well be or no, he's not going to pick up DRS. Actually, he would have liked that lap car to be a little further ahead, because he would have gotten a helping hand of DRS down the straight, and that could have made a lot of a big difference for him. But now Sport's just going to have to keep on going here.
Would not be surprised if we see Jake Scarborough into the pit lane come the end of this lap. He'll be starting the 18th lap of this race. He'll have completed 17 laps on the set of mediums, and that's a very good stint from a Pirelli medium perspective. He doesn't dive in, he stays out, obviously comfortable. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer has already pit. He's on 6-lap old mediums. Aaron McFall on 1-lap old mediums. We saw him head into the pit lane. Everybody else is practically on 17-lap old tyres. Apologies, apart from Adrian Teicher, of course. He pit after his spin through turn 8 in Samsung. That was 9 laps ago, and then Harley Fox as well. Aaron sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, so he'll be picking up an extra 4 Universal Racing point. However, I feel either Smith or Pistilli potentially will pick it up instead.
Yeah.
That's Matthew Slots out.
Alright.
That's in the pit lane, oddly enough.
Alright. I was
Disappointing,
thinking
actually.
there for a second. Something that happened. Well, that's Darren Smith into the pit lane.
Front 2 in. And Pistilli has gained a lot of time on the brakes there into the pit lane. That was impressive from Pistilli, the way he played that one. He got within 1.2. We'll be looking for a quicker stop here, looking for a quicker clutch release. Here he goes then. It'll be mediums for Tyler Pistilli. It'll be mediums for Dara Smith. Let's see how close this one is. Oh, that is very close as Luke Davies stays out. There is a retired car. Oh, it's almost cost Davies there. That was the retired car, Matthew Slots. Here comes the lap car of Harley Fox. And now who can get these tyres up to temperature quicker? Pistilli almost spinning it through turn number 1 of Premiere. And that Mercedes stop there hopefully gets removed quickly. That is, of course, the retired car, which I hope doesn't stay there for the remainder of the Grand Prix. That could cause a bit of an issue. 0.5 of a second separates Dara Smith and Tyler Pistilli. That car has been removed now, thankfully. Pistilli gained a lot of time in the pit stop phase as Smith, bit of a wobble. Has Pistilli got his tyres up to temperature quicker? This could play into Pistilli's hands very well, as that is Aaron McFall, who's gone adventuring off in the final corner. If you saw that on the track map, he's taken a different line through there. He's got a 10-second time penalty for it as well. I think Aaron might be retiring in the pit lane potentially. And I think this is the end of the day for Aaron McFall, and he becomes the second retirement in 2 laps. Actually, we managed to do over half the race with no retirement, so we've got 2 and 2 laps. But nevertheless, Pistilli potentially may be attacking Dara Smith. They both definitely have the tyres up to temperature now, and there's a 0.4 of a second gap. Heading into towards the final corner of Galp then. Is Pistilli close enough? He does have DRS. Of course, we've not had a safety car or anything. DRS has been enabled for the entire race. Here comes Tyler Pistilli. What way is Smith going to defend this one? Pistilli's going to go for the inside. Potentially an unconventional line into turn number 1 of Premiere. Pistilli leads the Portuguese Grand Prix for the first time here this evening. Smith not able to get back up the inside and is in second place. Tyler Pistilli leads here in Portimao. Davies comes out of the pit lane in 5th position. Jake Marsh stays out and is in 3rd. So does his fellow Jake Scarborough. Lap 20 of 33. Can Pistilli hold on to this one to win his first ever Formula Virtual Racing race? He's won a sprint race, but never a main Grand Prix.
Yeah, this will be very, very interesting. Can Pistilli hold on? Because I think at the moment he can definitely do it. He's been able to. Didn't fall off completely from Dara Smith, and he's been able to claw his way back there. So as long as he can push on here, it could well be Tyler Pistilli's first ever Formula Virtual Racing win.
And I have to say, Brendan, I think he's been the quickest driver today. Of course, Smith pulled away 2 seconds in the first part of the race. But Pistilli's been quicker really ever since then, and he pulls to the right-hand side. So that's the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. It's marginally quicker than Aaron McFall's. And the Canadian doesn't get repassed here. That's a yellow flag for Don Schaefer's once again. It's not been the performance of a lifetime for Don Schaefer's. 2 McLarens working well together. They are going to take 3rd and 4th, I believe, once Scarborough comes into the pit lane, as Jake Marsh comes into it now, but still close up the front between AlphaTauri and Haas. And I have to say, AlphaTauri are going to pick up some good points here today, because Scarborough has ran a good race.
Yeah, Scarborough's managed himself well, and if he's pushing the mediums a long way, he could end up being really quick in this last stint with the soft tyres. So, interesting to see where Scarborough ends up. And well, how quickly will Luke Davies technically catch him? Because Davies is not really going to be playing for a win here today, but he'll just want to solidify a P3 and just keep up consistency, because if you can't win, you may the next best thing is to still be on the podium.
Yeah, and look, if you're going to win a championship, you're not going to win every race. Every great champion in sim racing, in Formula 1, in IndyCar, WEC, is not going to win every race. I think the prime example of that one is Will Power in last season's IndyCar. He won 1 race. He won 1 and won the championship. So, that goes to show how consistency is crucial. If Luke can pick up P3 every week, he will be the champion, because others will make mistakes. Even the great champions, Lewis McWilliam, had bad races. Legend Rosenberg had a couple of howlers in his time. Now, a howler for Legend is a P6, but still, he had some bad races. He made some mistakes, and even back in the good old days of FVR, Sam Davis and Jack Redmond, they didn't win nearly every race. They got absolutely battered by reserves week in, week out, pretty much. But the great champions have to be consistent, and Luke is being consistent so far. So a P3 for him is a good result. Lewis McWilliams supporting his old teammate in the team chat, not in the team chat, apologies, the stream chat, saying, I am a Pistilli supporter. Of course, Tyler Pistilli, he's not won an FVR race, but he's won an FVR Constructors Championship with Red Bull Racing last season. Him and Lewis McWilliam were by far the best team in the season 8 of Formula Virtual Racing. They were unbelievable, in fact, and races like the Japanese Grand Prix in China, where they were by far on top. Pistilli might not have got the results, but he was there and he was fighting. And he earned himself a demotion to AlphaTauri. No, that's not how it works. It was, of course, a different draft team selection. And Pistilli chose himself AlphaTauri. And that AlphaTauri, they provide him with the goods to win this evening's race. That's a yellow flag for the Red Bull Adon Schaefers, as he takes a tip round through turn number 1.
Yeah, not being the best Don Schaefers.
That was a right waffle, wasn't it? From me.
Anyway,
audio's out of sync, according to Lewis McWilliam. Lewis, thank you very much for letting me know, because it sounds hideous.
You see Scarborough, he's going to go for the move now.
Oh, here comes Jake Scarborough! No! Houseman pushes him to the grass! Oh, these incidents are creeping into FVR a little bit too much.
So it's Houseman at least the sportsmanship here, because he has let Scarborough through. He has
let Jake Scarborough through, just like Jake let him through. By the way, the reason the audio was out of sync was because I was playing it through the wrong channel, so I did set everything up perfectly at the start, but thanks for letting us know on that one, Lewis. It should certainly be in sync now. Is Houseman going to fish it up the inside in towards turn 10 of Portimao, and the turn 11. He has got it done. Good move from Liam Houseman. He's back past Jake Scarborough. These two are getting a bit argy-bargy now, aren't they? Hopefully no more bigger collisions happen, because they both deserve the points they are getting this evening. Lap 24 of 33, and the gap of the run is 0.4 of a second. This race is not over between Tyler Pistilli and Dara Smith.
Yeah, Dara Smith doing a good job to just keep the in the DRS and Tyler Pistilli. The ERS situation, both of them have a bit, so it could be well just to down to who's able to use in the right areas. At the moment, Tyler Pistilli has this in his hands, and as long as he just doesn't really make a mistake, he shouldn't really be letting Pistilli or Smith into within any chance of getting that lead back.
0.8 of a second now separates them. Up the top, it's AlphaTauri who are leading. Do you want to know something I actually read today? I read Helmut Marko said he's thinking of rebranding AlphaTauri. I say we run back Toro Rosso. He didn't mention it, but I think a good suggestion would be if we rebranded it Red Bull Organics for their organics range. Because that sounds like a fantastic Formula 1 team.
Minardi.
Yeah, bring back Minardi. You know we all wanted Helmut. Bring back Minardi. But that literally doesn't matter in the context of this race. What does matter in the context of this race is that 3-second time penalty for Dara Smith. It cost him a win in France. It may well cost him a win in Portimao. Liam Houseman is unfortunately disconnected from the session. He's been struggling with internet issues all Grand Prix, and that's another disconnect. Tyler Pistilli is on course to win here in Portugal. My goodness me. Dara Smith needs to stop picking up these 3-second time penalties, because they are costing him races.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. He's going for the move.
He's going for the lead. He's going for the lead up the inside of Pistilli. And the great contact through turn number 1. Tyler Pistilli gets sent round. We said he was on course for the win. potentially spoke too soon. Darius Smith now leads, and they both have time penalties. Formula Virtual Racing gets more controversial by the minute. Tyler Pistilli is going to be furious at his fellow competitor because Darius Smith has hit the Canadian round and now leads in Portugal. Is this going to be another race decided in the steward's room? It could well be. But thankfully for Pistilli, it's still second place. It's not anything more. But my goodness me, this season just keeps getting better.
By the way, I have to say, Borbune, he's been basically up the gearbox of Luke Davies all race now, so you don't know. If things really got bad for this top two, it could well be Borbune who ends up winning.
I think that's a bit of a stretch. They're 17.4 seconds behind.
I know, but there's already 3 seconds for each, and I would say...
So 14 seconds? No, but I know what you mean. These could well make contact again if Pistilli's able to get back in, but because they're so equal on pace, I think it's very far-fetched. But Darius Smith went for the move on the inside of the corner. Pistilli did not necessarily leave him space, or, well, didn't look it. It's really gonna be down to, did Darius Smith hit his apex? Was he far enough alongside to be allowed space into the corner? If he did both of those, and Pistilli still turned in, it could potentially just lie on Pistilli's shoulders. But we don't know. I will not lie. That was a very sudden incident. Smith didn't look like he was going for the move into turn number 1. All of a sudden, they've made contact. So, it will be reviewed by the stewards, I'm sure. I'm sure there'll be an appeal made by AlphaTauri and Tyler Pistilli. As Bill Nowak already saying in the stream chat, that'll be getting reviewed. But nevertheless, it's more controversy here in Formula Virtual Racing Season 9. Will it be another race decided in the stewards' room? We will have to wait and see. Pistilli actually picked up the penalty heading into turn 1, meaning he got it because he ran over the curb on the left-hand side. We'll take a look here on Darius Smith. I'll show you what we're talking about, as that's Jake Marsh, yellow flag. That curb there, he ran over that white line and picked up a warning because he got it before the incident even happened, which is very interesting. But nevertheless, this is a very interesting race. Will we have that same level of excitement in the dying laps? I'm not sure, because their pace has been so equal, but certainly this has provided.
So, still seeing Borbune and Davies pretty much just tied together now at this point.
I wonder, is Borbune going to potentially launch an attack?
I don't think he's got the resources to do that at the moment, though. He's enough to stick, but not to go.
Yeah. I'd be inclined to agree, because I think Davies can just turn on the afterburners if necessary. Let's take a look at the steering wheel. Both similar level of ERS. As Adrian Taisha and Yafin Pinkuru fighting over 7th position. Taisha trying to hang it the long way around the outside as Borbune now picks up a penalty. That's that decided pretty much. As, rather funnily, it's the top 6 that have picked up the penalties apart from Davies, and not the bottom 6. Usually we see it the other way around, where the back markers kind of pick up most of the penalties, but no, it's been the top guys who have been fairly inconsistent today. Is Adrian Taisha able to attack it into turn 7 like we saw? I think it was Luke Davies do on Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, potentially. Jurgensmeyer right behind these on a fresh set of softs. Jonathan loving the soft tyres today, clearly. This is his second stint on them. He's done a 2-stop, which is not something we traditionally see in league racing. Unfortunate news for any Liam Houseman supporter. His internet is completely gone, will not be making a feature back into the race lobby, and that is Liam Houseman with a no score here in round 3 of the FVR Portuguese Grand Prix. That little rear drift from Darius Smith was very satisfying, but we're going to just stick with this battle for 7th position. There's going to be some slipstream provided to Adrian Taisha by his lapped teammate, Don Shavers. And now Taisha's going to try and get the launch on Yafin Penguru. This is this fight we were talking about. It's 4 of the drivers that we listed. We put Pistilli in this midfield fight as well, but he's got to prove us wrong and maybe win this Grand Prix. But this is the fight for 7th between Penguru, Taisha, Jurgensmeyer and Den Haar, and this one is going to get really interesting.
Yeah, I think Taisha, he wants his AI teammate to gonna be out of the way here because it's gonna just block it. That's Jurgen's Meyer down the inside.
Jurgen's Meyer.
However,
Oh
didn't really
no.
work out.
Bit of ghosting by the looks of things. He's got much better tyres than Adrian Taisha, as Dan Schaefer is going to have to get out of the way here. He's not obeying blue flags, and he's probably costing his teammate more than he's benefiting him, because Adrian does have a car planted on the apex in front of him, maybe not hitting the lines that he would like, but nevertheless, getting to the dying embers of this race. And Jurgensmeyer looks really threatening on the back of this train. Den Heyer has fallen off it a little bit, but certainly Adrian is fighting for his life in these tyres. 21 laps on this hard tyre. He's going to have to put up a scrap here if he wants to get something from this.
So that's Jurgen's Meyer past Taisha, and well, let's see what Taisha's now being technically passed by his own teammate, but that's just an unlap.
What Taisha needs to do now is he needs to stick with Jurgensmeyer and try to get past Yathin Penguru, because I think Jurgensmeyer, once he gets past Yathin Penguru, he's just gone. He's gone into the sunset. He needs to stick with Jurgensmeyer here, hope that it gets a little bit argy-bargy between Yathin Penguru and Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, and then Adrian Taisha can clear past. But running wide through Torre Veep is not going to help his situation here. We're going to remind you of the championship standings and how this man we're looking at in 8th position is going to take 4th in the driver standings, I believe. He's going to gain 3 more points, I think, over Lewis McWilliam, and that'll put him on 23 more points. Might well be 4 if he's able to get past 7th. Of course, new point system, making everything that little bit closer. And as it stands now, Dara Smith will lead the Formula Virtual Racing World Drivers title. World Drivers Championship, apologies. He's not won the title yet, but after round number 3, Dara Smith will lead it, but that is pending Stewart's investigation for the incident between him and Tyler Pistilli in this battle for 7. Surely Jurgensmeyer is just going to clear past Yathin Penguru. He's got an unbelievable tyre advantage, but the German's going to fight this one all the way home against the German car. Here comes Jurgensmeyer in towards turn number 1, dummies him and goes for the inside. Jurgensmeyer still there on the inside, but Yathin Penguru hangs around the outside. Is Jurgensmeyer going to hold off and potentially try launch an attack into turn 5 at Torre Veep? Definitely think that's what he's going to do, as Den Heyer getting close to Taisha. Taisha really struggling on those hard tyres. Here comes Jurgensmeyer, still attacking Penguru. Big send round the outside for Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. That is a mammoth of a late breaker. And Jurgensmeyer still looking, still on the inside. And Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, that is sensational round the outside, as Harley Fox crashes. That's the first on-track crash, as that is Dan Schaefer's round as well. But Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, take a bow. That was impressive.
Yeah, and now we're in the penultimate lap. Dara Smith still leading, but presumably that incident will be under investigation. Whether it's his fault or not is yet to be determined. But I'm assuming Tyler Pistilli will be thinking, I just want to stick with him, because as long as I'm within the 5, there's every chance I could get a win there.
That is Dan Schaefer's round once again, unfortunately. 2.2 seconds separates the top 2. They're going to head on to the last lap of the race, though. And this one, I think, will be decided in the steward's room. If it's for Tyler Pistilli, if it's for Dara Smith, he's got to earn this one on track. Just lapping Don Schaefer's now, and Dara Smith heading in towards Premiere of turn 1. Oh my goodness me! It was almost a spin for Dara Smith. He got right on the curb and had to save it. He lost 0.5 of a second. Maybe it's not all over yet for Pistilli. If Smith makes another mistake, maybe Smith is just struggling. No, I think Dara Smith, I think he does have this one in the bag. There was no real mistake into Torre Veep, which is the difficult corner. Luke Davies now picks up a penalty, meaning all of the top 6 now have a time penalty. Fair play to Jake Marsh as well, by the way. He's fought back to 5th. That's an impressive drive from the Yorkshireman. Yathin Penguru is going to launch one more attack on Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. No, I don't actually think he is, because he's not going to get any DRS here as it stands. Yellow flag. That's Tim Den Heyer who goes for a spin. He will finish in the point, nevertheless. It'll be 10th place for Den Hire, and he's not going to be lapped by his teammate. But nevertheless, heading round the final couple of corners, the last Irishman to win in Formula Virtual Racing was Jack Redmond in Season 6. He won in Singapore. It's taken till Season 9, but another Irishman will stand tall on the top step of a Formula Virtual Racing podium. Dara Smith wins in Portugal, and he gets the job done here across the line. Tyler Pistilli finishes in second. Impressive, nevertheless, from Pistilli. No matter how this one ends out, he's picked up 16 points, and that is an impressive drive. I think he might have picked up, actually, 17 points. I think he could have got the fastest lap. Here comes Luke Davies heading round the final corner. It will be a third consecutive podium, and Davies will continue his impressive start here in Formula Virtual Racing Season 9. It's a great result for McLaren in the Constructors. It's Borbune who comes across the line in 4th. Jake Marsh is going to come across the line in 5th for Ferrari. On his return to a main drive for the Scuderia, he will pick up where he left off. Actually won this race. He won this Portuguese Grand Prix. It's not a win today, but it's still a good comeback from Jake Marsh, who was caught up in some mishaps at turn number 1. Jake Scarborough will come home in 6th. AlphaTauri and McLaren, definitely the big winners today in the Constructors' Championship, and Haas as well, of course, because they did win the race, didn't they? But Scarborough comes across the line in 6th. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer fights back to 7th. Yathan Penguru very close behind, and Scarborough's actually going to fall to 9th now. It's not the day AlphaTauri maybe would have wanted, with Scarborough coming to 9th due to the penalties. And then Den Hire will come home in 10th.
Oh, very interesting race. And soon we'll probably have to check out the instant between the top two, but apart from that, these drivers were, well, Smith and Pistilli were just clear.
Smith and Pistilli were unbelievable today. They were way out in front. But ladies and gentlemen, here is your podium. Luke Davies is already in the waiting room channel, on the way, so we will be hearing from him. I say here is your podium. Don't think it's gonna... Oh, look, there it is. it's loaded. Right on cue.
Well, another interesting race here. This championship could really be getting interesting now. Unless Luke got the fastest lap.
Oh, it was Luke that got the... Okay, so Luke picking up maybe a crucial point, but Dara Smith wins in Portugal with a race time of 44 minutes and 49 seconds. It is Tyler Pistilli finishes second. It's then Davies, Bune, Marsh, Jurgensmeyer, Panguru, Taisha, Scarborough, and Den Hire picks up the final points here in Portugal. It is then Houseman, Schaefers, and your non-finishers of Harley Fox, Aaron McFall, and Matthew Slots. We are going to go for some post-race interviews, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see who we have available to us. We'll have Dara Smith and we'll have Luke Davies. I'm not sure we will hear from Pistilli. We haven't heard from Pistilli in the chat either. Oh, Liam Houseman has actually joined the waiting room as well. Liam, unfortunately, you were nowhere near the podium today. But let's hear from our first and third place man. Dara and Luke, can you hear us?
Yeah.
We're getting a little bit bored of you two here in the interview channel, but nevertheless, it was an impressive drive from both. And Dara Smith, you've won a Formula Virtual Race. Talk us through that one.
Yeah, it was hard, especially with Hemi being so fast. He kept me on my toes. First of all, quali wasn't bad. It was hard, obviously, with the track drying up, but I had a good start, and I had like a 2.5 second lead. But I think I got a bit complacent then. I wasn't using my battery, and then when we were both pitting, he absolutely sent it. He took it way too cautious, and he gained about 8 tenths on me on the entry, which wasn't very good. And then he overtook me. I got a penalty, and then we had that incident, which you probably know about and probably caught on stream. But
We did.
yeah, I'm looking back at it now. I don't know. He might report it.
He already
He
has.
might not. Seeing as though he's the one that lost out the most. Thought that I was the one with the penalty. He didn't have a penalty. All he had to do was like sit behind me for the last 8 laps, and then he would have got the win. But I think he tried to fight it, and yeah.
He did, and
But
interestingly enough, he actually picked up a penalty on the entrance to the corner. I'm not sure if that was involved in the incident, but we're obviously going to talk about that incident because it was a big talking point. What is your thoughts on it? Do you think you're in the clear? Do you think it was his fault, he just turned in, or is it a bit 50-50?
yeah, I think I'm fine, to be honest. What I'm looking at here, I don't know. If he reports it, I'll have my defence ready. But yeah, I think I should be good.
Well, Tara, we haven't done the maths on the championship, but it's very close between the two of you here.
I think Luke said we'll be level.
I think you are, because I think Luke got the fastest lap, but
Yeah, he did.
It's not looking bad at this point in the season. You are well clear of a lot of people who we might have thought would have been up there.
Yeah.
Just what's your thoughts heading into Monaco next week?
Oh, Monaco! Oh dear.
Sorry,
Yeah, well, I
did I spoil the fun?
Yeah, that's a bit of a downer, but I had an hour of preparation coming in tonight, and to get the win, very happy, especially to be level in the championship. Even though Monaco next week is bloody terrible, but yeah, hopefully I'll see what I can do there, and we'll go from there.
Well, thank you very much, Darren. We're going to let you go and enjoy your evening. And Luke, we will come to you. The impressive run of form carries on, and you've picked up another podium here in FVR. It's not the win this week. Well, who knows? Maybe Dara and Tyler might get 20 seconds worth of penalties. It's the kind of thing that would happen to you. But how was that one for you?
Yeah, I mean, quali was getting interesting. It was weird because the Delta was going backwards for some reason. So pulling the pit lane and Inters were getting faster, as predicted in my last run. So that was weird, but yeah, got third. But yeah, on the start, just got tapped round from behind. I need to see what that was. But yeah, I need to look at it again. But yeah, fought my way back up. But I just didn't have the pace, and I was too far back to think of challenging. But yeah, just praying for a safety car for like the last 10 laps. I saw they both got penalties. So yeah, thought we might have seen another win for me if a safety car had come out. So yeah.
Well, you did get spun round, but you seem to make those overtakes look fairly easy. Was it was it difficult to get back to the point you got to, or did you just have a pace advantage?
I think I made most of my moves in pretty unorthodox places, not really on the straights, but yeah, just kind of, if there's a twitch, I just went for it, I just sent it, try to lose as little time as possible. Ball kept me on my toes, but I think he had to lift and coast a bit because of fuel. But otherwise, I think he could have stuck with me to the end. But yeah, it wasn't. I mean, I was just patient and picked the spots I went for moves, and yeah, got up to third pretty easy.
Speaking of Boar, you've extended your lead in the Constructors' Championship with a solid P3, P4 and a fastest lap. What's your thoughts, then? You going to keep working with Boar to go for the Constructors' Championship, or is the drivers your full focus?
Well, I think obviously you can't ever take anything for granted. It's round 3 only a quarter of the way through, so we just got to keep our form up. I mean, it's another P4 for Boar, and if I can keep delivering podiums, then both the drivers and constructors' form will follow.
Brennan, I completely forgot to let you ask Dara a question, so I'll let you ask Luke one.
Is me to ask Dara a question, is it? Yeah.
No, you can ask Luke one. Dara's gone.
Oh yeah, Luke. Just asking, so you did get tapped round, but do you think you would have been able to maybe keep up with the likes of Dara and Tyler Destiny, or was their pace too much even if things went wrong for you?
To be honest, I don't think, it being tapped or not, I don't think it would have made much difference. At the back end of the race, I was keeping up with them a bit more, but yeah, I just lost too much time too early. I think I was probably losing like half a second a lap, maybe a little less, but yeah, it wasn't great pace today. Wasn't feeling the track. But yeah, I dumped a lot of batch to get the fastest lap, and I think that's kept me ahead in the championship on countback. So yeah, I think that was worth it.
Well, Luke, thank you very much for joining us. We'll let you go enjoy your evening. But once again, congratulations, and congratulations to Dara and Tyler, who are not here. Maybe we have a new good Tyler in FVR as Tyler Pastilli takes another podium and potentially a race win pending steward's investigation. You heard it in the interview. Next week we head back to Monaco. Oh, I am chuffed. Every single driver isn't, but I love Monaco. I'm absolutely chuffed, and it should be a very interesting race. But for now, thank you very much for joining us this evening here at Formula Virtual Racing. We hope you stay safe, stay well, and we'll see you next time.